Now, former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull has told The Australian today that the Liberal Party has been held back on climate and energy policy by what he calls reactionaries in the Liberal Party. This is the term he and his barrackers in the media have been using for quite a while to describe the Conservatives in the Liberal Party. You know, the politicians who actually won government from opposition and ensured the party won the last election. Turnbull mocks these people, suggesting they don't know Edmund Burke from Tony Burke. This is the sneering we expect from the left side of politics, you know, the sort of our opponents aren't as smart as us line. Turnbull says their actions have thwarted climate and energy policy, leading to higher prices and higher emissions. Look, I was once Malcolm Turnbull's Chief of Staff in opposition, so I've always been a bit reluctant to buy into these personality-based or factional arguments. But the reality on the policies and the politics is this. First, there's not a country on the planet that's done more on emissions reduction policy at greater cost to its constituents and its economy than Australia. There just isn't. The activists and leftists are yet to counter or refute that critical point. So the financial pain in Australia has not been caused by a lack of global warming and energy policies. It's been caused by a major dislocation of our energy grid prompted by emissions reductions and climate policies, such as the renewable energy target. Second, we need to remember that Turnbull lost the leadership of the Liberal Party twice for exactly the same reason, almost a decade apart. In 2009, when I worked for him, he lost the leadership because he tried to do a bipartisan climate change policy deal with Labor. Last year, he lost the leadership and the Prime Ministership because he was again trying to deliver a climate change policy that Labor would accept. And third, in a democracy, you can't escape the will of the people. It doesn't matter how many ferals turn up on the streets, how many ABC scare campaigns are run on television, or how many Twitter followers some Green activist gets. Australians have made clear their preferences on these policies at elections. Julia Gillard was elected promising not to introduce a carbon tax. Tony Abbott won a landslide promising to repeal Labor's carbon tax. Malcolm Turnbull held on to office promising to do less on climate than Labor. And Scott Morrison's stunning victory was achieved in large part by pointing out the risks of Labor's extreme climate and energy policies. The logic has always been clear and the evidence is now undeniable that the Liberal Party and the Conservative side of politics can only ever be economically responsible and politically successful if it adopts a cautious, dare I say, conservative stance on climate action. To do anything more, as I've demonstrated time and again, both on this station and in the Australian newspaper, is to inflict more economic harm on ourselves for no environmental gain. For no environmental gain, because global emissions continue to rise and will do so for the foreseeable future.